welcome to this, and this is my review for Ring of Honor's Vendetta 2. Now, for those of you hoping that this, or wondering if this was going to be a response to Mr. Spinnernet's latest vid, his response to my vid, wait till the end of this video, and then I will explain that situation. So, let us get started with this show, Ring of Honor's Vendetta. Pretty good show, I must say. Pretty good show. Big surprise there, right? We opened the match. We opened the night up with Rhett, Titus, and Delirious versus Alex, Payne, and Silas Young. This was supposed to be, I guess, a four-way, and then Rhett Titus came out to kind of patch things up with Delirious. This was very much a good televised match that was on a DVD, and this is another one of those matches where people always say, oh, you know what, Ring of Honor can't do TV matches. Ring of Honor won't be as good. Watch this match, then tell me what you think. This was what this was. This was just pretty much what you would see on television, was to advance the storyline. Did a very good job of that with Rhett, Titus, Delirious, and Daizee Haze storyline. The match itself was good because you had a lot of that going on. You had Delirious more kind of enthralled with Daizee Haze than the match. Rhett always trying to upstage Delirious. It was great stuff, and I give it 2.5 stars myself. Next we had Erick Stevens versus Jay Briscoe. Nigel was on commentary for this. This was pretty good, and I shouldn't say pretty. This was a good match. Kind of what you'd expect, fast-paced, lots of just kind of good stuff, I would say. You know, I'm big on Erick Stevens, so I like that, and of course I'm a big Briscoe fan, and Jay, in my opinion, is the better of the two. So lots of good stuff. You had your spots, you had your, you know, changing forearms and lots of stuff. It was real good, fast-paced match. Another one of those matches where I always seem to say this. I know it ticks people off when I say this, but hey, you know, this is what the X Division should be. And it wasn't that long. It didn't even go 10 minutes. So there you go. Next we had a lights out match with Chris Hero versus Pelle Primo. This was another surprisingly good match in my opinion, where you know, it was you know, like I said, it was surprisingly good. It was pretty much just Chris Hero killing Pelle for the most part, but Pelle did get some offense in, and it looked like, you know, ooh, where are we going to see the upset? But not really, and it sold Chris Hero's new finisher, which is the Roaring Elbow. Pretty good stuff. You know, the Sweet and Sour did their heel gimmick, so everything worked. Pretty enjoyable match. And another match, which I would say would have played very well on television, even though this one probably a little too long. This one almost 10 minutes. That probably been a little too long for television, but you probably could have narrowed it down a little bit. So there you go. Next we had Tyler Black versus Necro Tyler Black and Necro versus Generico and Steen. This was sort of like if Generico and Steen could get the win over Black and Necro, you know, they'd be in line for a title. This was a good match. Probably not as good as a lot of people would have thought, but the Necro matches, even though I'm somewhat of a Necro fan, just aren't really doing it for me, to be honest. But this was good. This had a lot of good stuff in it, and it was fun to watch. You know, good old-fashioned kind of tag match between these guys. With you know, Alice in Danger was out there, or Alice in Wonderland was out there. I wish it was Alice in Danger out there. So this was good. A lot of fun, and the Age of the Fall kind of being the dick heels that they've been, and all of that sort of wonderful and groovy stuff. So there we go. Good 3.25 star match. A lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Next we had Bryan Danielson versus Claudio Castagnoli, and this was probably not the match most people thought, because probably the first half of this match, I would say, or a good probably 5 to 10 minutes of this match, was a lot of kind of comedy spots with Danielson and Claudio kind of playing with the referee. They did the giant spin gimmick. They did, you know, the fireman's carry gimmick. They did lots of that sort of thing, and then they finally got into the match, which was a lot of fun and really good. Probably not as good as you would normally expect from a Bryan Danielson match. I'm not too sure why that is, because you would think these guys have a really good match. But I don't think they wanted to go out there and overshadow everything. I think they easily could have, so I think they played this more of, it was kind of, it had some comedy aspects to it. But the end of it was really good. It did go for a long time. It almost went for 25 minutes, so it was a long match, but it didn't seem like it went that long. So in that sense, it wasn't bad. Good 2.5 or 3.5 star match, I would say. Next we had Sara Del Rey, MsChif versus Daizee Haze. I'm a big MsChif mark, but this just did not work. This was kind of sloppy, to be honest, with me, and they also didn't give them enough time. I wish if Ring of Honor was going to have the women from Shimmer on, they should at least give them time to show what they can do, not just these little women's spot fests. I really didn't enjoy it too much. I give it a 1.5 stars. Wow. Next we had Brent Albright and Roderick Strong versus Adam Pearce and a mystery partner. The mystery partner wound up being Go Shiozaki. Highlight of the match, and this is a legit highlight, is Sweeney brings out the Honky Tonk Man, which was a great little gimmick, and I won't ruin what they did with him, but it was a lot of fun. This was a good old school, I would say, match with just, heel versus face. Roderick basically as much, in my opinion, as good as he was as a heel, I think he actually makes maybe even a better face. I think it's hard for people just not to like him as much, but it was really good. Adam Pearce did what Adam Pearce does best, which is just be, an evil little heel, so that worked. It was, it was what it was, and especially with Larry Sweeney being Larry Sweeney, which is always good, and they brought in Johnny Fairplay as well, so, Sweet and Sour was definitely in full force. So, but, 3.25 star match, nothing too wonderful. Next we had a non-title match, and one of the reasons why I'm sure most people got this, because this was Jerry Lynn's kind of return to ROH, not full-time, but kind of, I guess, as a tryout, and it was Jerry Lynn versus Nigel McGuinness. McGuinness came out being the dick heel that he is, basically told Jerry Lynn, hey, just go to the back, because, oh man, I'm going to kick your ass, that sort of thing. And Jerry Lynn says, he's dealt with snot-nosed punks before, beaten them, so, why don't you put the title on the line? Of course, that didn't happen. And they did a lot of, Jerry Lynn being, the crafty veteran, using tricks of the trade to kind of frustrate Nigel and almost beat Nigel. Good, solid match. I think what you would expect from these guys. It definitely didn't go out there to steal the show in any part. I don't know if Lynn is still able to do that, but this was still a good, solid match in my opinion. 3.5 stars. A lot of fun. It was good to see Jerry in the ring, and particularly looking like he wanted to be in the ring. So this was a lot of fun, and not probably the Jerry Lynn that people remember from maybe 10 years ago, but that was 10 years ago. But still very good and fun to watch. And then we got the main event, and just like I said, the Nigel versus Jerry match was not a title match, so it wasn't the main event, and I'm fine with that, because we got Austin Aries versus Jimmy Jacobs in a one-on-one match, and with the exception of Generico and HBK, might be the only thing close to it to be feud of the year. This is awesome stuff, folks, and this match was awesome stuff. Just utter hatred, both guys just trying to kill each other with mind games and all sorts of just crazy stuff. The end of this is just brutal, and they let them go for a while, and that was good. You just got the feeling that they wanted to kill each other, and this match would lead up to the next match, because whoever won got to pick the stipulation for the next match, and Aries won, which meant that at the end of the match, he decided it would be a no DQ match with him versus Jimmy Jacobs versus Necro Butcher, as set up the next kind of installment of this feud, with Necro kind of being, torn between Jimmy Jacobs and Austin Aries. So that was really good. This told a really good story, just lots and lots of hate, and a great 4.5 star match. Good stuff. This was a very good show. Not a great show, but a very good show, and I definitely give it an 8.25. Lots of fun. Definitely recommend checking it out. I think most people would enjoy it. And now to the other part. I mentioned Spinnernet. Spinnernet did a video about the Triple H video I did. He did a response to it. So, and I will do a response to it. But if, you know, Spinnernet can watch my videos, he can comment on my videos. He's not banned from my videos. But the thing that I have a problem with Spinnernet, and if he wants a response, he will get a response from me. But I would ask him, you know what, why don't you go through and don't you unban all those people who on your video would have defended what I said instead of having them all banned like you do. He talked about how he, you know, we all have opinions and we all have the rights to our opinions. Okay, if we all have the rights to our opinions, then unblock the people that you don't want to hear their opinions. Okay, because that's what you have done. That's what you have done in the past. You know, the only people I have ever blocked are, you know, spammers. It's the only people I've ever blocked. Ric Flair sucks. Numerous other people who have said things about me that are totally horrendous and nasty. Never banned them. Why? Because banning them doesn't do any good. It just, well, what's that do? It doesn't do any good. People comment on my videos, and if they make stupid, idiotic comments, the people that usually come after them call them out on their stupid, idiotic comments. So, you know, Spinnernet, why don't you do that if you're going to talk about, oh, everyone's entitled to their opinion? Because apparently, to you, not everyone is entitled to their opinion, and particularly if it is a educated opinion that differs from your own often, apparently, because, you know, there's a lot of people you have banned for no other reason than who they are associated with, not anything they've ever said to you, anything they've ever said about you. So, I will do a response, but I think people need to keep that in mind, that, you know, he does have people banned from his site who would defend a lot of the things people are saying about me on his video, and not that I can't defend myself, but, you know, it would be nice if he wants a true discussion, for there to be a true discussion, and for there to be a true discussion, you have to allow people to be in that discussion who apparently he doesn't want in that discussion. So, anyways, like I said, it will come. I wanted to do this first. I've been trying to do this for about a week. That's probably why the video, you know, I didn't talk a lot about the matches because it's not something I had just watched. I watched it about a week ago, and I've been trying to do the review, and I just haven't been able to. But awesome, not awesome, but great card. Definitely check it out. And I'm out later.